Hi, I'm Dr. Lance von Stade. This is a wrist mobility video that I'm excited for you guys to have access to. This is a resource you can use throughout your day or your week. This is part of my morning routine that I really love. It's changed how my wrist, forearm, and hand feel at the beginning of the day so that I feel completely engaged with the things that I'm working with, especially as a chiropractor and using my hands. It's really important that I have full access to all the range of motion and the sensitivities. So this will be something that as you go through it, if you feel discomfort or pain, make sure that you bring that up with one of us so that we can assess you and make sure that you're not actually hypermobile and putting more mobility into a joint that you may need stability in. But feel free to play with it, and if it feels good, it feels productive, and you're getting the growth and exercise that you need, then continue it within that 10% outside your comfort zone. So we don't want any pain, but enjoy. First mobility movement we're gonna do is you're gonna wanna put both of your hands flat on the floor, and you're gonna put pressure into the heel of the hand and then also into the ends of all of your digits. Then we're gonna reach our right hand underneath the left thumb, and as I'm pushing pressure into the whole hand, I'm gonna lift my thumb as high as I can with a comfortable end of range, and then let it back down. Lift up, maybe 10% outside the comfort zone, but absolutely no pain, and then back down, all the way back up, still pressing my thumb down into my finger as I lift it, and then down. For each of these, even though I'm lifting up, I still want my digits to be pressing down because I don't want passive flexibility where I'm just lengthening ligaments. I want to be engaging muscle chains up my arm, connecting my brain to every degree of range of motion that I'm getting here. That's true flexibility, and that's a strength and dynamic stability. So now, pressing into my hand, lifting this index finger, pressing that index finger down into me as I lift it, challenging it, and then dropping it. 3 times there. Keep your spines neutral and nice and decompressed. Reach under the middle finger, press down into all the digits, lift up. 3 times. Under the ring finger, press down, lift up against that resistance 3 times. Under the pinky finger, press down, lift up against that resistance 3 times, and then switch hands. Pressure into all 5 ends of the digits, pressure into the heel of the hand. Get under this thumb, pressure downward, and then resist that pressure. Feel that muscle kicking on against that resistance as you get to a nice end range or a light bit of a stretch. If it's uncomfortable for you, just be careful. You can play with end range, maybe 10% outside your comfort zone is what we like to say, but you don't want to be causing any pain. And the true test is always the next day, so you'll see how you feel the next day. Doing 3 on each of these, all the way out to the pinky, pressing down into all 5 digits and into the heel of the hand. Good. So now your fingers are kind of mobilized. From here, pressure into the hands again, push into the heel of the hand, and now turn your elbows outward. So your cubital fossa or this elbow pit is facing straight forward. And now I'm going to lean forward and push into the base of the pinky knuckle. Right at that 5th knuckle, press right into that spot, turning my elbows out, and then rock back. Then at the base of the ring finger, right at the head of the metacarpal, good, and then back. Turn my elbows out, right at the base of the middle finger now, push into that middle finger, turning my elbows out. You're going to be getting more and more of a stretch for the flexors as you go here. Now we're going to go deeper into the index finger, right at the base. Like your hand is under here and you're pressing pressure straight into the floor there, turning my elbows out. First knuckle pressure all the way forward. This is a lot more range of motion required for this. Try to keep your elbows locked out. And then also the base of the thumb, that thumb knuckle, push into there and turn your elbows out. And that is a lot of range of motion. So if that's comfortable for you, then you must have really great range of motion. That's even given me a really nice stretch. And then relax, you can shake it out a little bit. Now turn your fingertips outward. And if you want more of a stretch with this, the closer your hands are, the more stretch you'll get, even to the point where you can crisscross your hands to here. For the sake of here, I'll just show you kind of neutral. You can go all the way out if you need to have a little bit more help. So right underneath, pressure in the heel of the hand. That's the most important here. Okay, we'll add pressure in the fingertips later, but start right at the base of the hand, pushing straight down. And now instead of turning my elbow pits out, I want to turn my elbow pits in. So from here, turn all the way in. Shoulder blades can come together and apart and find a nice neutral. You can drop your chin and pull it back, finding a neutral neck. Big decompression breath. And then elbows in and lean to the right. Go all the way to the thumb knuckle. So you're pressing into the base of that thumb knuckle on the right hand, and then thumb knuckle on the left hand. Good. Then on the right hand, swooping back, pressure underneath that first knuckle, that index finger. So pressure there, turning my elbow in to get that stretch coming up the forearm, and then elbow in on the left, right into that first knuckle. And we're going to go a little quicker now. Internally rotate right into the middle knuckle and into the middle knuckle, into the ring knuckle, into the ring knuckle, into the pinky knuckle. A lot of range of motion required there. Into the pinky knuckle. And you can go through each of those multiple times if you want. For the sake of the video, we'll just do it once. Next, we're going to go into flexion, which is going to extend our wrist and give a little more joint play on passive flexion. From here, as I'm hands flipped up, so the palms are actually facing up, the backs of my hands are on the floor, my fingers are facing my knees. Don't just drop straight onto the joints here. That will be really tender. What I want you to do is place the backs of your hands on the ground and then paint the floor away from you. So you're going to lightly feel the tug of your skin pull down on the fascia from the arm. That will give you a much more broad stretch and not just compress the joint here. So light pressure, and then drag your hands away from you just a little bit, and then lean back. And similarly now, we're going to push under the back of the hand. So push into the pinky finger as you lean back, and then into the ring finger. Turn your elbows outward so that they're facing forward. Push into the middle finger. That's a lot of stretch right there. Push into the index finger, turning your elbows forward, straightening your arms. And push into the thumb, even though it's more of an imaginary push at this point. Just focusing more on the insides of the hands here. And then slowly lift your hips up to lift your hands off. That can be really tender for people, so shake it out a little bit. You can even kind of massage slightly just to kind of reintroduce some blood flow to the area. Over time, this becomes more and more comfortable for you. But you can already in this position feel some of the new range of motion. If this is more than 10% outside your comfort zone, then be careful how quickly you add more reps or add more intensity. But over time, you can make these changes. 2 more. From here, we're going to have our hands, just like we did this way and we kind of drug away from us. Now it's just our fingertips on the ground, and you're going to lightly drag towards you until you feel your lats kick on and your abs perhaps. Lightly drag towards you, keeping your fingertips completely straight. Just give a light bit of a bounce. So out on the pinky, on the ring, 3 times each, middle finger, index finger, thumb, pinky, index, pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb. Pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb. Bounce on each of those individually. Feel the different muscle chains that fire up the arm, and then shake it out a little bit. And then our last one for the day, we're going to start with the heel of the hand and do circles around the palm. Now, a lot of people see this and think it's just a wrist mobility exercise, but I really want you to emphasize the connection between your spine, your scapula, your humerus, your forearm muscles and bones, all coordinating this motion. Okay, so there's a lot of spiraling happening through here, and any sticky points throughout this whole chain can show up as carpal tunnel. It can show up as triceps tendonitis, as impingement in the shoulder. So this mobility movement is simultaneously kind of a self-assessment of, do you have clear motion in the whole chain from the hand to your spine? So in this position, kind of like a cat-camel, I want you to lean back onto the heels of the hands. You can lift the fingertips and hands off the ground. From here, you're firing your extensors. You might already have some tension there. So now shoulder blades come together and apart. Elevate toward the ears, depress away. Find middle ground for each of those. Turn your elbows in and out until you find middle ground. And then drop your chin toward the floor, and then lengthen the back of your neck to find neutral there. Once you feel like you have complete neutral in all those structures, now roll on the outsides of the palm, across the top of the palm, across the middle, and back to the base of the hand. So you're traveling in that circle. At the base, outside, across, inside, base. Outside, across, inside, base. And notice my elbows are turning in all the way to here. Across the base, elbows turning out, shoulders opening, shoulders rolling. Good. So feel that circle with all of that motion happening. And now don't let your elbows rotate. And just micro-tune a circle across the hand, little circles. And now let the elbows rotate, emphasize even bigger. Get the shoulders involved. And then relax, shake that out. And even here you can start to notice what I would add in is start to grab maybe a roll of socks really tightly just to activate all those muscles. You can hold that roll of socks and move in big ranges of motion to kind of bring your brain the grip and connection of the motor pathways that connect the hand, and then bring much more range of motion to the shoulder and breathe into your core. We'll go through some future videos where we go through some specific sequences for that, but that would be the last piece for the mobility for your wrist. I hope you enjoyed that. I imagine you'll notice a vast difference in the dexterity and sensitivity of what you feel in your life. So enjoy your day. Peace.